they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit.
It is a reputation that we have created for ourselves, which I'm assuming that Trump is leaning off of because we were the last major city to file bankruptcy, the last largest major city to file bankruptcy, which our reputation precedes us.
And that was a real Detroiter who still lives in Detroit, who's not bought off by the far left to say what they want him to say. Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to view my content. Make sure that you are following me on all the platforms you see above and the ones below. And also, clicking this like button right here is how my content can consistently be recommended to you, and it helps push it out in the YouTube algorithm. Last but not least, double check and make sure that you are still subscribed to my channel, because there's a good chance that you may have been mysteriously unsubscribed to my channel. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you know how things go with a lot of things that the Democrats do, how they try to get black people to try to vote for them. Now, you just always some booty shaking, rapping, concert-like type thing to get people's attention to bring them there, especially black folks. That's what they do. Give the niggas some entertainment, give them booty shaking, give them weed, give them parties, give them concerts, and we can get the niggas to vote for us. Well, they tried that with Lizzo before, right? And she got so much backlash, it was ridiculous. Well, let me just tell you a little bit, though. I have to give props where props is due. I do give praise to Lizzo for taking care of herself. Lizzo has lost a lot of weight. Some of you that don't know who she is, you might see her now and say, that girl is big. No, she was bigger than that. So I'm glad that she took the initiative to go and take care of herself, getting herself in order, getting her health together. Well, you notice this time, no. That instead of Lizzo being her typical self, always flashing her big belly and all that stuff like that, like she has in the past, ladies and gentlemen, in the past, all of a sudden she hits the stage looking a little different this time. And it's not just about what she looks like, it's about what she is going to say, right? Check it out.
What up, though? You know all the best things were made in Detroit. Coney dogs, Fago, and Lizzo. I'm so proud to be from this city. You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit. Okay? Proud like Detroit. Resilient like Detroit. We're talking about the same Detroit that innovated the auto industry and the music industry. So put some respect on Detroit's name. You deserve a president who understands that their job is to be a public servant. And Kamala Harris has dedicated her entire career to public service, from DA to VP, and I think Mrs. Commander-in-Chief has a nice ring to it. So if you ask me if America is ready for its first woman president, I only got one thing to say. It's about damn time! It's about damn time!
Okay, so you saw that, you heard all that, and let's keep it real. Lizzo looked classy. I see what she did. She put forth a message that is definitely something that the Democrats wanted her to do, right? Now, I can't help but do it. When she said, the Coney dog, Fago, and then Lizzo, I'm like, that's how you got Big-O. No, let me stop. But what we gotta realize, folks, that if you have somebody that lives within that vicinity, content creators, anybody that you can kind of collab with, go online with, that are people that's from that city, you're able to talk with them, who is involved in the community, who do things around the community, who actually still currently lives in that area, those are the people that I like to talk with and deal with and get information from. So, after Lizzo said all of that, as if Trump was trashing them, was he really? Was he really trashing them? What was Trump really saying about Detroit? Well, fortunately, we have somebody I met, again, on YouTube through his old channel that used to be called This Is Fight Club, Anton Daniels from AntonDaniels.com. And he currently lives in Detroit. He's a very successful man that's in Detroit right now. He does a lot of things in the community. Very well spoken of. He's married 20-some plus years, got a daughter, got a family. Things are held together real good. Black American. And I like when people keep it real and tell you the truth. So without further ado, folks, let's hear what a real Detroiter who currently lives there, that's currently involved in Detroit, has to say on this matter.
So we reached out to the Trump campaign to see if they would give any more clarity about those comments that he made this afternoon. And they gave us this statement that reads in part, President Trump remembers when Detroit was lauded as the gold standard for auto manufacturing success and revolutionized the industry. It goes on to say that his policies will usher in a new era of economic success and stability for Detroit, helping the city reach its fullest potential. If you want to read that in full statement, you can find it on our website, cbsnewsdetroit.com.
So let's address this, because people couldn't wait to send this to me and say, Anton, what do you think about this? Because you're in Detroit, you're from Detroit, you decided to stay in Detroit, but you're voting for Trump. Okay, so let's address it, because Anton dodges no smoke, zero, zilch, nada. And I actually gave a little bit of context to this on the Millionaire Morning Show, so if you want to go and look at that, make sure you tap into the Millionaire Morning Show or subscribe. We do that every single morning, Monday through Friday, and it is the best morning show on the face of the earth. Also, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. And then get your tickets to come and see me in person November 2nd in Atlanta, and then December 14th here in Detroit. And make sure you get your T. Henley 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. All right, so let's get into the thick of it, all right? So, again, people wanted me to react to this, or they wanted me to address it, and they think that I was just going to gloss over it, and I'm afraid of this smoke, and I can't add value into this conversation. But I absolutely will address this directly. So, first and foremost, because I want to have maybe like 3 or 4 points total. First and foremost, let's just address the elephant in the room. People are so sensitive and they get easily offended, and they think that just because somebody is appealing and then pandering to them, that then justifies that I'm supposed to vote for them. No, I am still the same person. I'm voting on policy. I'm voting on the idea that we're putting America first. On a national level, that's where I want him to operate. On a local level, that is where I want my local leaders, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to vote, because you're not just voting based off of the President of the United States of America, but you're also voting locally. Now, Detroit has done so much more, and we're really, really booming, and everybody know that I'm a huge advocate for Detroit, while at the same time, in the beginning of my YouTube career, I held the city accountable myself, but I never ran. I just stayed here and worked, right? When I was coming up, and I'm an OG of YouTube, when I was coming up, I absolutely had to address the honest to God problems that was going on in the city. Thank God that we had people that stayed and we didn't have a brain drain, meaning that you get people that's educated here and smart, and then they leave and they go to other places. We are doing significantly better. We have a surplus, unlike Chicago. We have a population boom, unlike New York. And we have a lower and a reduced crime rate, unlike Oakland over there in California. And so most blue cities are suffering under the same democratic policies that we see happening under Kamala Harris. Now, the second point that I want to get to is I don't care whether or not somebody tells me what they really think, because the reason why I don't like chameleons such as Kamala Harris is because she's so busy pandering to the people and telling them what she thinks that they want to hear, instead of telling them they honest to God thoughts. We can agree, we could disagree on some issues, but I'm never so much in my feelings to make an emotional decision instead of making a logical decision. Are we better off as a nation under the Trump administration or under the Kamala Harris administration, and what policies are best going to benefit me and my family? It is up to you as an individual city to vote on the policies, the millages, who it is that you're electing to the city council, the mayor, and so on and so forth. We just so happen to have a hugely blue Democratic city, but these legislators are significantly better than they were 10 to 15 years ago, which is one of the reasons why you also need regional cooperation. And then last but not least, great business owners such as the Dan Gilberts that absolutely want to continue to invest in the city. And so we largely charge that regional cooperation to the success and the growth of the city. Third point, it is a reputation that we have created for ourselves, which I'm assuming that Trump is leaning off of, because we were the last major city to file bankruptcy, the last largest major city to file bankruptcy, which our reputation precedes us. So now it is up to us, not to criticize the people that are criticizing us, but to change our reputation. And we're slowly doing that. The same way that it took decades for us to create the reputation that Detroit is a hellhole is the same way that now we have to work diligently to create the reputation and showcase the city, such as we did during the last NFL draft, and we showcased it in different events and things like that, so that when people see us and when people recognize us on the national stage, they say, hey, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It absolutely isn't. But again, that is our responsibility as Detroiters to change the narrative of the reputation that was created for us and not get mad at people that have an opinion of what it is that they've experienced or the reputation that we've created for ourselves over the last 40 to 50 years that our parents and our grandparents threw us under the bus and they sold us out because this was an urban center that had a low voter turnout rate and 100% ruined our own lives. And we voted against ourselves and we leapfrogged off of the 67 riots to tear up our own city. But there's a group of us, and there's so many different people, and I'm not going to go into it, that absolutely champion a change. And everything that we see happening positive in the city is not one person. It's the legislators, it's the business people, and it's the local residents that's absolutely changing the face of what this city is. Last but not least, I absolutely think that he's leapfrogging off of the thing that we experienced back in the 2008, 7, 2000s, 1990s, and what's then translating because of some of the same similar issues that we're having today. We see Stellantis going out of business. We also know that regional cooperation, meaning that it's not just the city of Detroit, but it's the Metro Detroit areas, all of the surrounding areas that then benefit off of and then suffer, right? In the same way, reciprocating, suffering as a result of whatever the city goes, that's usually how the rest of the region is affected. So for somebody to say, yo, and I think that the context was missed because what he really was trying to implement or really trying to highlight was the suffering that we've experienced over a period of time. And the same thing that we used to go through is the same thing that a lot of these other cities is going through because they don't change the way that cultural norms are. And then they voting based off of the same way instead of voting based off of what's best for us. I don't care for the governor, Gretchen Whitmer. I really don't. I do think that Mike Duggan went really well, but I also understand that Mike Duggan is compromised because at different points he actually worked for the Biden administration. So there's a lot of context. When you see what is happening on a national scale, when you see Biden sitting down, he's actually sitting down next to one of the worst governors to ever grace this state. I forgot who she was. Jennifer Granholm. Jennifer Granholm was sitting right next to him when they was talking about the failed attempt that was happening for Hurricane Helene. So she was one of the governors of Michigan. She was one of the past governors where people absolutely thought that she did a horrible job. So I don't take it personally. I'm not tripping about it. And even if I disagree with it, or even if he flubbed what the extra context was that he was trying to communicate, it doesn't make a difference to me. I don't vote emotionally. I still think that he's the best person for the United States of America. And then we also have to vote and handle our business locally to make sure that we not only create the best economic opportunities and leapfrog off of the things that's been happening over the last years, but also that we change the reputation nationally and people don't look at us a certain way. But instead, he just said the quiet part out loud of what nationally things was happening back in the past and what is affecting a lot of these cities in the future. So it's up to us. It's up to us to change the reputation. And again, I don't take it personally. I still think that Kamala Harris is the worst ever. And if you're voting based off of what you've seen happen after that, and you're not voting based off of which policy is going to affect your life and make your family better, then that's on you. But that's why we all got choices. So absolutely, I'm not running. And I'm still voting for Trump. And I still think that he's the best option for the United States of America because I am tired of these proxy wars. I am tired of these illegal migrants coming over here. And there's nothing that he could say that would actually get me to switch sides and think that illegal migration into this country, record inflation, bad economies, bad responses, FEMA running out of money and all of these things. And then on top of that, I'm not voting for a woman to lead me. You can forget it. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and that's how I rock. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon.
What's wrong with that? What is wrong with that? See, what he just got done doing right there is what I love that a lot of people do. I tell people all the time, when I go to these speaking engagements and I talk about things that's plaguing our community, things that may be plaguing our city, yada, yada, peanut butter, what people tend to do is get pissed off that I'm naming those things off versus the fact that I'm saying I'm naming these things off so that we can fix them. When people come to see me and they start to tell me what their symptoms and all these different things is that's going on with them, my mind don't sit there and get offended like going, well, that's you should be taking care of yourself. No, what I do is I think about the symptoms that they're telling me about and try to figure out how am I going to fix them. See, that's what a lot of people get. People get this miscommunicated so often. They don't realize it. When I'm coming to you and I'm saying our cities are jacked up, our schools are failing, our roads are horrible, we don't have up-to-date windows, your community leaders, they are betraying you, they pimping you, they doing this to you, this sucks, we are completely being degenerate, we are doing these things with no accountability, people get pissed off, you always talking about us, instead of saying, yes, Ty, that is a problem. Now, what can we do to fix them? But what a lot of people like to do is like, but what you gonna do about it? No. What I'm going to do about it is that I'm telling you so that we can all come together and we can fix it. You get it? It's just like with President Trump right now. People thinking that he is going to fix it. No, it's us, we, that's putting him in the position that we want to put him in so that we all can come together and fix it. It's amazing to me that a lot of people don't even want that. They don't even want that responsibility. Like when Trump overturned and got the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Even though I won't say that Trump got them to do it because these Supreme Court people are some smart people. A lot of them are. They put this stuff together and they decided to. Anyway, my point is this. When he said he wanted to, when they overturned Roe v. Wade and they said it's not going to be a federal government thing, it's going to be states going to decide for themselves. Why are y'all getting pissed that now we, the people, are going to make that decision? Yeah, anyway. Y'all, let me know what y'all think of this. Make sure y'all go check out Anton Daniels from AntonDaniels.com. He also has his YouTube channel. He's on Instagram. Again, it's Anton Daniels. And also, don't forget to leave a comment right here. Last but not least, if you want to see the next video that I will do in chronological order, most likely it will be up here. Things that I do as a variety on this channel will be down here. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.